muscular former NFL player and Super Bowl winning receiver would be foolish and possibly pathetic. There was no way she was Kenny's type. Not that she'd ever seen him with a woman, but still, he was gorgeous. Dark blonde hair, big blue eyes. He was built like a superhero and strong. A gentle giant of a man. And speaking of big, his hands. She held in another sigh, placed her order, waved at her friend Patience, who was manning the espresso machine, then moved to wait for her drink. The truth was that famous former NFL stars didn't date small-town single moms, especially not those who were battling an extra 20 pounds. Bailey figured she was attractive enough. She'd been blessed with thick red hair and nice skin, but she wasn't like those women in the gossip magazines. She was pretty much the same as everyone else in the normal world. She had a job, she worried about her daughter, and much of the time her paycheck barely stretched to cover her bills. She wasn't exactly a hunky guy magnet. But that was the beauty of a crush. She could look and dream all she wanted, for free. And if the man in question happened to be coming in for a meeting that very morning, then she was simply going to have more to sigh about later, which made today a very good day. As Kenny Scott's friend Jack had once admitted, going to see Mayor Marcia was a bit like visiting the great and powerful Wizard of Oz, but without the flying monkeys or the man manipulating things behind the curtain. Unfortunately for Kenny, Mayor Marcia came by her power the old-fashioned way, and not through smoke and mirrors. If it were the latter, she would be so much easier to refuse. It wasn't that he was afraid of the woman, he told himself as he walked toward City Hall. It was that he didn't like situations where he couldn't say no. And with Mayor Marcia, no wasn't a word people generally uttered. He knew he could tell himself to be strong, that she was merely an old woman. But the truth was far more complex than that. Mayor Marcia knew things she shouldn't, and no one could figure out how. Kenny assumed she had a network of accomplices who fed her tidbits of information. She put them all into some retired NSA computer program that predicted behavior or something. He shook his head as he climbed the steps to the main entrance. Maybe he should simply accept the prevailing wisdom that the mayor wasn't of this earth, or had precognition. Regardless, she had summoned him, and here he was. He took a flight of stairs to the second floor and walked down the wide hallway. A sign directed him to the mayor's office. He walked through the open doorway, only to get hit by a 300-pound cornerback. Okay, not really, but that was what it felt like. He came to a stop, unnoticed by the single occupant of the office foyer, and told himself that he was imagining the body blow and the attraction. He knew the curvy redhead sitting guard outside the mayor's inner sanctum. He'd seen her dozens of times in town, had talked to her. He even knew her kid. But while 7-year-old Chloe was adorable and only a little dangerous, the same couldn't be said for her mom. Bailey Voss was a walking, breathing temptation. She should come with a permanent warning sign and a quarantine zone, because when he was within 10 feet of her, his brain shut down, and he became an idiot. He couldn't figure out what it was about her that got to him. She was tall, and he liked tall, but it wasn't like that was so unusual in and of itself. The long, wavy red hair was sexy, but survivable. He wanted to say it was her big green eyes. There was an innocence there, a trust, and that appealed to him. Okay, fine. He would admit it. He was just as mentally simple as every other man on the planet. Sex was important, and when he saw Bailey Voss, all he could think about was getting her naked and having his way with her. He was pretty sure that 300 or 400 times would do the trick. Under any other circumstances, he would ask her out, wow her with his charm, get her into bed, and get over her. Or fall crazy in love with her. He was open to either. Only that wasn't going to happen, not ever. She was a single mom, and he didn't date single moms. Not now, not in the future. Because single moms came with kids. And while a guy could get over falling for a woman,